In this video, we are going to look at subtracting fractions, and as we did before adding the fractions, so we will follow the similar step. Our first step will be to make the denominator same. How to make the denominator same? In this case, we can see that our first fraction is 8 over 15 and second fraction is 1 over 5. It's very simple. That first part is 8 over 15, and if you look at the second part, we have 5 in the denominator. How to make that 5 in 15? It's obviously if you multiply by 3, it will give you 15. But as it is a fraction, whatever you are multiplying in the denominator, you have to do the same in the numerator. So multiply by 3 on the top as well. Now it is giving us the fraction finally come 8 over 15 minus 3 over 15. So we have the denominator same. What is the next step? We are doing the subtraction as normal. The numerators will be subtracted to each other. So 8 minus 3, which is 5, and we have a common denominator. So 5 over 15 is not the final answer, as it is not the simplest fraction. So we have to make it simplest fraction form, right? How to make it simplest form? Then we have to find a common factor in between. And we can see obviously these both can be divided by 5. So if you divide 5 by 5, it would give you 1. If you divide 15 by 5, it will give you 3. The final fraction will be 1 over 3. What is the result of subtracting these fractions? So that's how we are doing the subtraction of the fractions. Now let's have a look to another example. If we have a mixed number, like you can see in the screen that if we have 5 whole number, 4 over 5 is the fraction, minus 3 whole number, 3 over 4 is the fraction. What we can do in here, so I advise that we are just subtracting the whole numbers and subtract the fraction separately, and finally whatever we are getting the result, these two results will be added. So that's the step 3. So follow the first step. So first step is subtracting, because we have 5 is the whole number, and here in the second fraction 3 is the whole number, so it is giving us 2. We have 4 over 5 is the whole number, fraction, and the second fraction is 3 over 4. So when we are subtracting these two fractions, we have to follow the steps that we need to make the denominator same. How to make the denominator same? So what is the common least common multiples? Again, in this case we can think about least common multiples. And for 5, if we do in this side, so 5, what is the least multiples of that 5? 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20, so on. If you go for 4, it would be 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. And you can see what is the common multiples here, and 20 and 20 is the least common multiples. So now we have to make it 20. It means we have that fraction, what is there, I'm just writing as it is. Now we have to multiply this one by 4 in order to make 20, because we know that 20 would be the least common multiple. Similar way we have to multiply this one to make the value same. Here we have to multiply by 5, then it will give us 20. And same way we have to multiply by 5 on the top as well. So now you can see we have 20, and on the top it is 16 minus 20, top it is 15. And now we can see that our denominator is same. What we have to do, we're just making it a common denominator, and 16 minus 15 is giving us 1. So 1 over 20 is the subtractional result from this fraction, but this is not the final result. As you see, our last step is place both numbers together. It means whatever subtracting results we are getting, we have to add them up. So if you add 20 and then 1 over 20, so our final result will be 2 is the whole number and 1 over 20 is the fraction. So this is basically our result for the subtracting of these two mixed number. So, and that's how we need to do the subtraction of the mixed number, by following these 3 steps. So if I revise again, what I am doing, I am subtracting the whole numbers first, and then I am subtracting the fractional part, and then I am adding the 2 results. Okay, let's have a look another example of doing the subtraction of the mixed number. Here you can see that we have first one is a mixed number, which is 3 is the whole number, 1/2 is the fraction. But the second one actually is just a fraction, it's not a mixed number. Then you can ask, then when we are following the first step, what is the subtraction of the whole numbers? What is actually we are doing? We have nothing whole number here. So if you subtract nothing, means we are getting actually 3 is our whole number, subtractional result of the whole numbers. And now we have to subtract 1/2 minus 2/3. So we are subtracting the fractions. This is our second step. And how to subtract the fraction, as we are doing before, is just we are making the denominator same. That's our first step. And you can obviously see we have 2/3. In order to make the denominator same, we can multiply by 3, we can multiply by 2. So why I have decided to do multiplying by 3 and 2 in here? Because I'm again thinking about the least common multiple. So when we are doing the least common multiple for 2, we are doing 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8. And if you go for multiples of 3, which is 3, 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12, and we can see that what is the least common in these multiples. So we can see 6 and 6 is the least common. So it means we have to make 6 in the denominator for the both fractions. And that's why I'm multiplying by 3 to make it 6. I'm multiplying by 2 for this fraction to make it 6. Because I'm multiplying 2 by 3 to make it 6, and 3 by 2 to make it 6. As I am multiplying by 3, I have to do the same thing on the top. As I said that we have to keep the value same. I am multiplying the same way here. So it giving us 3/6 minus 4/6. And finally we are getting minus 1/6. So this is the tricky part that student always faces. So when we have minus 1/6, what we will do? Again, we will follow the same steps. Our step 3 is we have to add our 2 results. So our first result is giving us 3, the subtracting the whole numbers, and our second result is giving us minus 1/6. So basically I'm adding again here. So if you add this, it is giving you actually 3 minus 1/6, because we know that plus minus is giving you minus, and this is the times relation. So it is 3 minus 1/6, which is finally giving us, if you want to make it this as a fraction, we can make it because we need to make the denominator, right, same. So how to make the denominator same? We can make this 6, because we can imagine that there is a 1 underneath. So in order to make similar denominator, you can multiply like 1 times 6, and then you can make it 3 times 6 minus 1/6. So you can see that our denominator is the same. So you can just go, I can make it here. So what I'm doing, 18/6 minus 1/6, which is giving us 17/6, which is, now this is the improper fraction. So what we are doing, we are dividing 17 by 6. And if you think about the long divisions, what we are doing, actually 6 can go for twice. 6 times 2, which is giving us 12, and another 5 will be left from 17. So that 5 again will be divided by 6. So this is the final mixed number after subtracting these 2 given numbers. So this is the final result of subtraction of these 2. So what we are doing, we are subtracting. I'm just summarizing what we did now. We are following the first step, which is subtracting the whole numbers, and our second fraction, there is no whole number, it means 0. So it's giving us 3. Then we are doing the subtracting the fractional part. So I am subtracting and we are following the steps and getting minus 1 over 6. And our last step is adding these two results. That's what I am doing now. And then again I am making the denominator same as we did before. And then we are subtracting, and this is the improper fraction, and we can't leave the answer in improper fraction. What we have to do, we have to make it a mixed number. So make sure that is we are finishing the answer in that, and that's the steps we have to follow when we are subtracting the mixed numbers.